Welcome to the Bogosity Podcast for the 21st of November, 2011, the podcast that illegally downloads your heart and soul. This is your host, Shane Killian. Let's pants the news of the bogus. How many times have we seen well-intended legislation turned into its complete opposite, with a privileged group ending up with benefits and abilities prohibited to others? Case in point, Michigan's anti-bullying legislation designed to combat the problem of bullying in schools. Well, if bullying children isn't bad enough, how about deliberately infecting them with a potentially fatal disease? It sounds like the horrors of biological terrorism, but shockingly, some parents want to do this to their own children. Some parents in the modern, enlightened 21st century think that the chickenpox vaccine is dangerous, and instead have decided to infect their children with actual varicella-zoster virus. There's a growing network of parents on social media to trade infected lollipops so that their children can actually get the disease. Well, while we're worrying about bullying and deliberate infections, the FDA has taken action against what it says is an illegal drug. And this is a drug that may be in your very home, consumed by your own children. This potentially dangerous drug isn't pot or coke or heroin. It isn't uppers or acid or angel dust. It's walnuts. Yes, walnuts. Last month, the House of Representatives introduced the Stop Online Piracy Act, or SOPA. This is the resurrection of a failed bill from last year that seeks to formalize what the Department of Homeland Security has started doing anyway, seizing the entire domains of websites on a mere complaint of copyright infringement, without even so much as a warrant supported by probable cause. Under this law, copyright holders just have to complain to law enforcement. They don't have to submit any evidence that there's actual infringement going on and get entire domains shut down, regardless of what else is on that site or what other sites are hosted in that domain. And now it's time to extinguish the idiocy of this week's biggest bogon emitter. Even today, after all the scientific evidence showing otherwise, there still persists the anti-vaccination forces who insist that vaccines cause autism. And now it's time to cross-examine the bejesus out of this week's Idiot Extraordinaire. Dave Turcotte brings this week's nominee to our wall of shame, Christopher McGrath. McGrath wrote and self-published the book, The Attempted Murder of God, Hidden Science You Really Need to Know. But when Vaughn Jones wrote a negative review debunking many of the claims of the book, McGrath decided to sue for libel. And in the UK, as we've discussed in this podcast before, truth is not a defense to libel and slander. Since the reviews were posted both on Amazon.com and RichardDawkins.net, both of those were named as co-defendants. After the suit was filed, those reviews were taken down. So much for freedom of speech and open discussion.